Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest is Euwart Anderson from Vehlo. Welcome, Euwart.
Thank you.
Well, let's get started with a little bit about you. Where'd you come in from today?
Sure. I came in from Dallas, Texas.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about the career path that led you to where you are today with Vehlo?
Yeah, glad to, Brian. So my career is broken down in really three stints. The first, I would like to say I'm a recovering accounting and finance professional. So spent about a decade in that field with varying industries. Moved into talent management, where I owned human resources, global recruiting, training, executive development, et cetera. And then moved into finally my current kind of track, which is more operations and product oriented, mostly in software.
Cool. Of those three things, which one has been your favorite?
I say the operations and product oriented roles, yeah. So leading companies from a strategic perspective has really excited me and reinvigorated me. I will say the automotive space has also, the last few years, reinvigorated me as well.
Yeah, things with engines are fun, right? I mean, things that go fast. I mean, there's not much to not like about the car business.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's talk about your role at Vehlo. The companies that comprise Vehlo's fixed ops portfolio, tell me a little bit about them and how they fit together and to help dealers.
Sure. So my role at Vehlo is the executive vice president and general manager of our dealership division. And then to explain a bit about how the company's structured, we have three divisions. The dealership division, which I've mentioned, which is made up of 5 brands I'm responsible for. That's Text to Drive, Dealer Logics, Service Lane eAdvisor, and then our 2 most recent acquisitions, Rapid Recon and Velocity Automotive. And we have 2 other divisions, payments that's integrated into all of our platforms. And then we have a 3rd division, the aftermarket, all of which are comprised of 16 total brands that we've acquired over the last 4 years.
In your current role, are you responsible for positioning these companies and getting them in front of dealers? What are you doing to create more awareness? I mean, 16 companies is a lot of companies.
It is.
What are you doing to make all the dealers that you work with one company aware that you also have, 15 others that could possibly help them?
Sure. Two things there. One is focus.
Yeah.
So that's why we've divided the company up into 3 divisions, because 16 brands to the market would be really confusing. So we, in the dealership space, focus on getting the 5 brands that we have that I've mentioned out to our current customers. Today, we currently serve about 7,000 or so customers as far as individualized rooftops at the dealership level, which is really exciting for us. Across those rooftops, most have only one of our products.
Really?
Which creates a huge opportunity to offer other complementary products to them that we have, all based on their needs, right? So not that every dealer needs every one of our products. We take a very thoughtful approach to assessing their needs, finding out the problems they're trying to solve, and then getting the right products and supporting services in front of them.
That's a great caveat to my next question. I want to kind of talk about the results. Like a dealer that has one of your products. What are some of the synergies that exist for them to add other products?
Sure. I'd say a few results that come to mind center around generating revenue for starters. So we allow our dealers a better opportunity to connect with their consumers and stay connected with them through automated texting and other communications platforms that are integrated through our products. And that keeps customers coming back, which is a big problem for dealerships today in the service lane, right? There's a lot of competition that every dealership's facing externally. Second, giving the power back to the dealership employees is the probably maybe number one, actually. Employee turnover is super high in every dealership for the most part, based on the data we've seen in our customer feedback. It's really tough to keep top talent, particularly in the service lane. And with that, we've empowered that top talent to use tools that require minimum touch, that are easy to use, and that we enable them to use. We don't just hand those tools to them and say good luck. We are very engaged and involved. And we've got our biggest differentiator for us at Vehlo, which is our people, our supporting cast. We really are very focused on the people internally and with our clients.
Wow. You mentioned the hardest job in the dealership. The service writer, those people have the hardest job in the dealership. I want to shift gears away from the dealership for a second and ask about the hardest job on the football field. I imagine that you're a Dak Prescott fan.
I might be.
Is he going to win the MVP this year?
I think that's a real possibility based on what we've seen at the top of the season.
Yeah.
The question will be, will he hold, right? Will he keep that performance up through the rest of the season?
Yeah.
That's going to be key.
Yeah. Boy, he has had a great start.
That's right.
And I heard people talking about it before the season, and I thought, boy, I don't know, but with what's been seen so far, it could be.
Yeah, it looks promising.
Yeah.
Every year, a Dallas Cowboys fan believes we're going to the Super Bowl, no matter what our team structure and roster looks like. So every year I make that proclamation, and I have been disappointed more than not. But I've certainly been satisfied in years of old. So I'm hopeful that those years come back.
Well, I'm a Bengals fan who lives right in between Philadelphia and New York, and so it'd be awful nice to see the guys that run around like this.
That's right.
Calm down for a minute.
That's right.
Well, let's move on to Recon. You mentioned, you guys acquired the two biggest companies in Recon. One of them being the company that invented the entire space. Just recently.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about what inspired you guys, to acquire both of them, and what your plans are, to provide more value to dealers by doing that.
Sure. So kind of answering the first question on kind of our rationale for acquiring them.
Yeah.
I'd say that one, both businesses had really favorable financial profiles. So just as companies, they were very well structured and well run. But different, and they were vicious competitors, right? So with that, we thought, well, if they are the leaders in their space, we need to, at all costs, bring them together as much as possible and synergize the things that were not alike. And one of those biggest synergies really centered around kind of the go-to-market approach between the two businesses. Rapid Recon, I would say, was a bit more white glove oriented as far as the experience is concerned. They wanted to provide. That was their intent. And I'd say Velocity Automotive was much more speed to market, a bit more transactional, but they provided great products as well. They also have, on the Velocity Automotive side, a product called Engage. It's a vehicle portfolio offering and OEM or manufacturer stickers that they have integrated into the reconditioning platform at Velocity. Well, we have since integrated that into Rapid as well. And that was one of the initial synergies that we really were excited about, is getting the over 2,000 customers on Rapid exposed to Engage and window sticker offerings. So that's really created quite a bit of synergy for our customers, specifically with the two Recon companies.
Can you talk a little bit more about that product? That how have the Rapid Recon customers how do they feel about that new integration, and what is it doing for them?
I'd say right now, candidly, it's a bit early. We brought the products together about a quarter and a half ago. So we're 4.5 months into it. And so far, the feedback's been really positive. It is a substantial initiative in our business. There's a lot of effort and investment around cross-pollinating that product into the Rapid base. So far, the feedback's really, really positive. I think one of the things that we are taking into account, though, from a feedback perspective, is the more that we can create seamless integrations that are super low to zero touch, the better for our customers. And we know that in the marketplace, that's not necessarily what our industry is known for. Right? If you go to any service lane, they're using 7, 10, 11 technologies that most of which don't talk to one another. So back to my earlier point about empowering the people, we want the service lane staff and, frankly, the front of the house too, to be focused on the customer and to not be focused on figuring out which system they're using today, right, or at the moment. So that's feedback that we're continuing to take about the products as well. How can we further integrate them in ways that don't exist today in our company or in the market at all?
It's interesting. That is something that I hear a lot when I talk to people that are on this show, is that it doesn't matter really what your position is in a dealership. Everybody's got 10 or 12 logins, and they repeat this. They have to do the same thing over and over and over and over again because the systems don't talk. So that's wonderful. If that be an initiative of yours to make the systems talk and make it easier, that's right. That's what we need.
That's right. Yeah, the market need is really driving that approach for us. Again, it just goes back to the people and listening to the customer, listening to not only the service lane customer, but the GM making the decision or the service director making the decision on what products and what tools the team has at their disposal in the service lane. And then also the consumer. Like standing in a lane and getting feedback is priceless. And when we go do that, we learn a lot, and we actually sometimes inform the dealer, in ways that they couldn't get informed as well. So whether it's creating profitability and revenue by making sure that kind of time-to-line reconditioning model is really efficient, or if it's making sure that boomerang customers, as we call them, come back to the service lane after 2 or 3 years of not being there. That entire life cycle is something that we want to accelerate. No pun intended. Yeah.
That is something that technology was really supposed to help us provide better customer experience, and it seems like the technology has become so overwhelming for a lot of people in the store that they are not having the time to provide that great customer experience. So
that's right.
It kind of seems like a new theme that's really going around right now. That hopefully this new generation of technology allows us to get back to what we used to do well before we had technology.
That's right. The goal at Vehlo at large kind of ties to that sentiment. Our goal ultimately is to be the favorite in the market as it relates to partnering with customers to provide service lane technology and integrated payments. If we're not the favorite, that's probably because we're not giving them what they need or want or what they will use, right, really effectively. And you can't really get there without listening, right, and asking a lot of questions that will lead your product direction versus you kind of throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what the customer might like. Yeah. That's really one of the themes that we found in the companies that we've acquired is there was a lot of consumer or customer-based feedback direction in our product. And that goes a long way in providing the right experience and frankly, being accountable for the value our products and services should provide.
Great. Well, Euwart, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today before we go?
Maybe one thing, Brian. I'd really suggest that the industry at large take a step back at times and really kind of look at some of the problems they're facing and challenge their partners to be partners and not vendors or providers. I think it's a challenge we're up for the task for. But I think more importantly, like whether it's us or any other provider, we're all accountable for a result that we're trying to deliver. And I would just encourage the market to challenge their partners to deliver that result.
That's a great idea. Thank you for coming, Euwart.
Sure. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming to Akron to see us today. And I appreciate you taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest has been Euwart Anderson from Vehlo. We hope to see you again soon. This episode is Over the Curb and Burning Gas.